Throw catch. In a 20 metre by 20 metre area, play 6 versus 6 possession throw catch. The rules are simple. The players cannot move with the ball and they can only remain in possession for only 2 or 3 seconds. Possession changes by interception or whenever the ball hits the ground. This is a good warm-up activity, but is also a game-centred practice, thereby providing an excellent all-round learning tool. Quick feet. Quick feet sessions are essential if young soccer players are going to develop to their full potential. In this quick feet activity, markers are placed about 5 metres apart in a zigzag shape as shown in the video. The players kick the ball gently from one side to the other and then run around the markers and try to reach the ball before it stops. The players concentrate on sharp turns around the markers before accelerating to the next marker. Quick feet activities need to be completed early in the coaching session to ensure that players are fresh and able to maintain a good tempo and good technique. Around the square passing. The use of the insides of the feet to receive the ball has 2 great advantages. The insides of the feet are large, flat surfaces, and when they are used, the body's centre of gravity remains central and helps the player to stay strong and well balanced. Round the square is an excellent drill, which enables players to practice allowing the ball to come across the body to the inside of the furthest foot, and then changing feet to pass the ball. This practice also allows them to become used to the concept of passing and moving to support.
Place 3 players on each corner of a 10 metre by 10 metre grid square. The leader of one group has a ball at their feet. The ball is passed around the square and each player has 2 touches to relay it on to the next player. Allow the ball to come across the body to the inside of the furthest foot before changing feet with the first touch and passing it on. The player then makes a run outside the square to follow their pass and join the back of the next group to await their next turn. Ensure that the ball is passed in both directions so that the players can practice receiving and passing with both feet.
As players become comfortable with this activity, the degree of difficulty can be increased by introducing another ball to the grid. Balls should start in the diagonally opposite corner. Can one ball catch the other? Remember to change direction so that the players become comfortable on both sides. The coach should use language such as, "Let the ball come across your body. Use the inside of the furthest foot. Change feet with your first touch. Don't stop the ball. Pass the ball out of your feet with your first touch," etc.
The coach can increase the difficulty by dividing the players into 2 teams. The teams must be carefully allocated to each corner. In the video and animation, 2 orange players and 1 white player are diagonally opposite corners, whilst in the other 2 corners there are 2 white players and only 1 orange player. The ball must start with a group of 2 players. One team passes and follows their ball in one direction at the same time as the other team is travelling in the opposite direction. This is difficult to practice, but coaches should persevere as it will help players to develop peripheral vision and hone their passing and receiving techniques under quite significant pressure. The players will often have to work hard and think on their feet if they are to consistently receive on their furthest foot, change feet and pass clinically. 1 vs 1 shielding, keeping possession. 1 vs 1 is a vital activity as it duplicates game situations. If players learn to be comfortable in a 1 vs 1 situation, with and without the ball, they are preparing themselves well for the future. Organise 12 players into 2 teams with different colour bibs or tops. Arrange 6 10 metre by 10 metre areas. In each area, there should be 2 players, one from each team. Each player stands at either end of their area. One player passes the ball to their opponent on the other side of the grid. Once the receiver has touched the ball, the defender advances and attempts to force the ball out of the grid. The attacker must attempt to protect the ball by using his body and keeping the ball moving into spaces and away from defenders' legs. Once the ball is out, the roles are reversed. After about a minute, players should be rotated. Over about a 7 or 8 minute period, each player has played all the opposition. One versus one to the line. 1 versus 1 is a vital activity as it duplicates game situations. If players learn to be comfortable in a 1 versus 1 situation, with and without the ball, they are preparing themselves well for the future. This activity is a progression from 1 versus 1 shielding or keeping possession. As in the previous activity, organise 12 players into 2 teams with different coloured bibs or tops. Arrange 6 10 metre by 10 metre areas. In each area there should be 2 players, one from each team. Each player stands at either end of their area. One player passes the ball to their opponent on the other side of the grid. Once the receiver has touched the ball, the defender advances and attempts to win the ball and defend their line. The attacker must attempt to protect the ball by using his body and keeping the ball moving into spaces and away from the defender's legs. But when the opportunity arises, the attacker should try to dribble the ball to their opponent's line and stop the ball to score. If the defender wins the ball, they should protect it and try to score themselves. If the ball goes out, simply reverse roles and start again. After about a minute, players should be rotated. Over a 7 or 8 minute period, each player has played all the opposition. 2 versus 2 to the line. This exercise is a progression from 1 versus 1 in a 10 metre by 10 metre grid. In a 20 metre by 10 metre grid, 2 teams of 2 players play to the line. Both teams then attempt to score by dribbling the ball across their opponent's line. If the ball goes over the sideline, it is returned to play with a kick-in. This is done by placing a finger on the ball, and once it is removed, the ball is live. The ball can then be passed or dribbled into play, and the defence can try to win it. The coach should rotate the teams so that all the teams have the opportunity of playing against each other. This is a good transition between the small area used in 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2 games into the bigger area of 3 versus 3, 6 versus 6 and so on. Six versus 6. This is a game-centred practice containing all the necessary elements of the game. In an area 40 metres by 30 metres, play 6 versus 6 soccer. There are 5 outfield players and 1 goalkeeper. If a goal is scored at either end, change the goalkeepers of both teams. Rotate the goalkeepers so that all players take a turn at being the goalkeeper. There are no corner kicks. If the ball goes out over the back line, it will be a goalkeeper's ball. There is no offside. Take throw-ins as usual. Encourage players to support each other by forming lots of imaginary triangles and diamonds. This is where all our passing, receiving and dribbling skills are put to the test. Encourage players to adopt good habits. These games will help the players learn about attacking and defending and enable them to develop group skills. Let the game be their teacher. Step over inside to out and away opposite leg. The player dribbles in a straight line before stepping over the ball with the right leg from inside to out and immediately using the outside of the left foot to change direction and accelerate away. Repeat the exercise by using the opposite legs.